here we go again, y'all. Yet another fake Trump assassination plot. So there's reporting that's out right now that Israel reached out to Trump and warned him and said, sir, there's another assassination plot against you being plotted by Iran. And that's why, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but recently in Trump's speeches and in his talks to the press, his press conferences, he's been saying, oh, they're coming after me? Perhaps I'm next. Perhaps I'm next. They're coming after me. I'm going after them, but they're coming after me. So yet again, we have, what is this? Example number 7, 8 of a fake assassination plot against Trump. Let me be clear. There's zero evidence of an actual Iranian assassination plot against Trump. This is something made up by Israel, and the reason they make it up is the same reason they made it up the last time, is because they want more war. They want Trump to continue to carpet bomb Iran. They want him to maybe drop a Moab, a mother of all bombs, on Iran, or use chemical weapons, or biological weapons, or nuclear weapons. They want a failed state. Okay, they want Iran to be a failed state so they can be a regional hegemon, and then eventually they can try to become a global hegemon. That's the idea. Israel wants to be a superpower, and they need to remove Iran as a regional player that can rival them. That's the idea. So here's Scott Jennings on CNN, and he's going to talk about this and finger wag and castigate everybody who's criticizing the U.S.'s relationship with Israel because, oh, Israel just helped save Trump. Look at this.
For them to not behave, in which case they get nothing, and we have to go back to a military option, which is where we are today. Where it ends, I don't know. There hasn't been as much volatility in the oil market the last couple of days as some people might have projected, which is a good thing. But I do think it's true that they are not interested in rational outcomes here. And this whole threat to assassinate our president, just say one other thing, for all the people out there who've been crapping on our relationship with Israel and what we do with Israel and our alliance with Israel, they gave us intelligence to help us keep our president from being assassinated.
All right, y'all. We're not going to talk about that because that's all fake bullshit. Hello. Sorry for my hiatus. Sorry I haven't been around. I was in Boston. And then coming back, I have been trying to get back on a normal schedule. Has not been successful. But here we are. I am going to stream. Probably not going to stream tomorrow. It's my friend's birthday, so I have to go out for her. Shout out Selena. Selena, we're going to go crazy for you. No, we're not going to go crazy. Okay. Selena, if you're watching this, did you see the shooting outside of Bear Cabaret? Okay, that's a terror strip club, so we would never go there. But still, we got to act right. We ain't trying to get nobody shot. And also, like, bro, this shit is so fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's sad. It's life-threatening. Banana stuffer. And it's just gonna get worse. I was in Boston with one of my best friends, and he's more of an optimist. He's basically like, we just got to get through Trump, and then once we get through Trump, things will get better. I really wish. At the end of the day, I hope that he's right. I really do hope he's right, but I think that the percentage chance of him giving up the power he's accumulated over this past 2 years in midterm to a hostile Congress is little to none. Or no, I think that the percentage of him not giving up his power once he loses power to a hostile Congress in 2020 in these next elections is like 80 to 90% chance. that like we're gonna see his like even Pierce Morgan was on the Bulwark and he was like, "What do you think of Trump? You're the one who helped get him elected, so how would you grade him?" He's like, "Well, I thought when I promoted him, when I campaigned for him, was that he was going to lean into his good side. He thought he was going to lean into his good side. And he's leaned in hard into his bad side. So even his supporters are like, yeah, this is not ideal. This is not what he campaigned on. This is not what I voted for." And he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, "I have the power now. Now, no, I don't care if you guys vote against me. I don't care if you guys, my poll numbers are shit. I don't care that I've started another fucking war in Iran over and over again. I am going to use all of my power and all of the wars I've started and the military to keep this power, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it." It's like, "Oh, the court ordered me to stop building something? Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You know what? What? The court ordered me to take my name off the Kennedy Center? Nah, I'm gonna just cover it up and pretend like I took it off, but it's really still up there." Like, oh, Jesus. It's so fucking bad. It's so fucking bad. So please, go to strip clubs. Go spend time with your friends and family. We have 4 months. We have 4 months to enjoy the time with our friends and family, and then something's gonna shift. Like, something's gonna break. He's gonna do something that's gonna force probably one of the most adversarial movements to get him out of power in our history. Like, there will be a fight to remove him from office. And I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to go. I think my optimism is, yes, we get him out of office. We do. We will. We will prevail. But at what cost? At what cost what will be the cost of getting him out of power and putting in somebody who gives us Medicare for all, affordability, and no more Gestapo in the streets? Let me send out the bat signal, and then we'll get into the Iran war starts again. Here we go. Alright, let's get into it. Trump loses it as Iran refuses to surrender again. So, if y'all been watching my stuff, I don't like to give him kudos. I don't want him to win on anything. I want people to stay angry because overall, even if you give him his fucking kudos for closing the border, that's one thing he's done that, one, has helped nobody. Two, has hurt our economy. But it's something you can say, okay, he closed the border, whatever. Sidebar, here in Texas, one of Texas's only national fucking forest, national park, Big Bend National Park, supposed to be some of the most beautiful skies in the United States of America. I want to go before I leave Texas and do a camping trip with my friends. They're building a wall through it. They're fucking constructing border walls through a national park because, you know, immigrants, right? Because of immigrants who don't go through Big Bend National Park because there's other ways to get in. But also, if you've closed the border successfully, why do you need a wall? You're able to close the border without a wall right now. Why do you need to build a wall where people aren't crossing? Why do you need to build a wall in one of the most beautiful national parks in the United States of America? Oh, why do you need to spend millions of our dollars on building a wall where people do not cross into the United States illegally? Anyways, anywho, we can, even though we can say he did that, the rest of the shit that he's done is so bad, so terrible. It's hard to find any silver lining in life or in this administration in what our government is doing. Our government is definitely not working for us. It's working against us. And one of those things is this Iran war. I wanted it to be over. I wanted him to get the deal done. After the deal was done, I was really happy to see gas prices go down. I paid $3.69 today. That was the highest I've paid in probably a month or 2-3 since they announced the ceasefire, since they announced the memorandum of understanding. I was down to under $3. It was like $2.85 was the cheapest I got my gas at. That was cool. That was nice. I was like, hell yes. We love peace. We love not killing and murdering people in foreign countries. We love not spending billions of dollars in foreign countries. We love cheaper gas prices. We love the American people not risking their sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, nieces and nephews, cousins, fathers and mothers to win another war in the Middle East. Not even win, bro. We're fucking losing. I hate saying that. It's another Vietnam, bro. They're saying it's worse than Vietnam. But like I said, I was really like, okay, we'll give him this one too. So you got 2 good things out of the 500 bad things you've done. We'll give you those 2 good things, bro. But then let's focus on all the bad. Like Gordon Ramsay doesn't focus on the reviews that are eating his asshole. No, he focused on the reviews of the unhappy customers, and he's like, alright, how can we do better for them? Trump Trump is not Gordon Ramsay. And for some reason, even though the peace talks were going good, who knows if they're going good? You can't really believe anything out of this fucking administration. But fuck you and your AI fucking viewers, bro. Suck a dick. Block. Ban. We have now the war has started again. We bombed them. They're bombing our bases in the Middle East. Back to square one. Strait of Hormuz is closed. Gas prices are going up. Like I said, I paid $3.69 instead of the $2.85 I was paying. Inflation is up. Jobs are down. If you're voting Republican, you're voting for more wars. You're voting for higher inflation. You're voting for less jobs. You're voting for more deaths in our country and around the world. That's all it comes down to now. I don't think you have to give up being a conservative at this point, but I do think you have to seriously think about giving up the Republican Party, because the Republican Party as it stands right now is the party of death, destruction, and economic disaster. So if you're still supporting this administration, if you're still supporting the Republican Party, you are supporting death and destruction and economic disaster. So if you're supporting that, like, I just feel like we are then at odds, and I don't want to be your friend.
A very desperate ultimatum to Iran right now. Trump passed the message along to Barack Ravid, his personal stenographer over at Axios, after the markets closed on Friday. Here's the desperate ultimatum. Donald Trump and Trump regime officials are saying the United States is demanding of Iran the following, both directly and through regional intermediaries. Iran must issue today, on Saturday, a public statement clarifying that the Strait of Hormuz is open and including a commitment not to fire at commercial vessels passing through the area, 3 senior American officials said in a briefing to reporters on Friday. A second U.S. official said there will be harsh consequences if Iran refuses, quote, if it is not their position tomorrow, meaning Saturday in Iran, it is not going to be a great day for them. Nope, it will not be a great day for them. Meanwhile, a U.S. official also telling Barack Ravid that Iranians reached out to the Trump administration after 2 days of skirmishes earlier this week and sought further talks to resolve the dispute. The Iranians told us, we screwed up, Donald. We screwed up. We made a mistake. Let's keep on talking, the official told Barack.
Bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. And this, look at this, look at this. This is... I feel like this is a setup for... Listen, I don't know if I can even call my theories tin cap theories. I don't know if these are really conspiracy theories at this point. I think we are more on the timeline where our government is hiding things from us, is lying to us, and will do something like fake an assassination attempt on Donald Trump to force a ground invasion of Iran. And then that precipitates into calling off elections or rejecting the results of our elections here in November. Like, yeah. So call it conspiracy theory, call it tin cap theory, call it, stupid, out of this world. Oh God, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's just this feeling in my stomach, It's just a feeling in my stomach.
Barack
I'm gonna get a
Ravid
drink.
as part of this cosplay fan fiction. That did not happen. The Trump regime just continues to lie. If they think that this ultimatum is going to work, it is absolutely pathetic. That's the lesson that they've gleaned over the past 5 months. Yeah, let's just threaten Iran. Please give a statement saying that the Strait of Hormuz is open. And if you don't do it, Iran, we're going to bomb your civilization. Yeah, you've done that about 40 or 50 times. And they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal so badly. By the way, yesterday, didn't CENTCOM post the following? This was a CENTCOM post. Claim. Iranian state media claims that transit through the Strait of Hormuz is only permitted through routes designated by Iran. And then CENTCOM has a sign for false. Then they write truth on the CENTCOM account. Truth. Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. Since early May, U.S. forces have helped facilitate the successful transit of more than 800 commercial vessels and 380 million barrels of crude oil through the vital international trade corridor. You don't all remember? Of course, the Strait of Hormuz has been open for months now, according to CENTCOM. So why, if CENTCOM says that everybody knows the Strait of Hormuz is open and that Iranian media is lying when they say that only the Iranian routes are the permitted routes for ships to transit through, then why is the United States demanding that Iran, through its regional intermediaries, issue a public statement to clarify the Strait of Hormuz is open? The Trump regime says it's always been open right there. Let's talk about what's really going on as well. Tehran has not asked the U.S. to resume peace talks, a senior Iranian official tells Dropside's Jeremy Scale, rejecting Trump's recent claims. In addition to that, though, this is sourced numerous other ways. Professor Morandi, who's with the negotiating team in Iran, says fake news, don't listen to Axios or don't listen to Donald Trump. They lie about everything, right? Donald Trump even posted this morning. I mean, isn't it pretty obvious to you that these senior administration officials is Donald Trump? Remember when Donald Trump was a failed business person in the 80s? He was his own PR person, and he would call up and he gave himself a different name, and he would say, I want to call on behalf of Donald Trump. I mean, this source is speaking exactly like Trump. So it's either Trump or Witkoff or Kushner or whoever. And separately, just through their public state media in Iran, FARS, Iran denies reports that there are new Iran-U.S. negotiations planned next week, calling them false and saying any updates will only come through official channels. Iran says fake news, ignore Trump and Axios. There will be no talks until the Trump regime follows through on its commitments. Another source close to Iran's negotiating team calls the reports claiming new talks false and unfounded. Going back to Jeremy Scahill's reporting over here, the official said, this is the Iranian official, told Dropsite, any diplomatic engagement has come only from the mediator's insistence, from Qatar and Pakistan pushing mediation, about the U.S. expressing a desire to create a path for Trump to withdraw from the war. Iran also warned it will not tolerate U.S. attempts to bypass its agreed monitoring mechanism in the Strait of Hormuz, calling any violation of the U.S.-Iran Memorandum of Understanding a breach of the entire agreement. Any violation will be met with a response, the official added, and Iran has been saying from March they will not give up the Strait of Hormuz. And they say this because they cannot trust the U.S. They couldn't trust the U.S. before, but during June 2025 negotiations, the United States attacked Iran through Operation Midnight Hammer, as it was called. Then in February of 2026, when there was a deal reached with an Oman mediator, that's when Trump and Netanyahu attacked Iran, killed the 168 girls in Manab, killed lots of other Iranians, and then invaded Iran. And there was a war for about 39 days. And so for Iran, control over the Strait of Hormuz through the IRGC route is existential. That is its leverage. And it's said that it will be working with Oman as part of their regional port authority to control traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. That's what they've been setting up, and they are not going to give that up. They're not going to give that up ever, and they will fight to the death over that. And as Donald Trump has threatened the Iranian civilization, he's actually emboldened them and moved them kind of closer together in a more unified way, and Iran is ready for war. Iran is ready for war. Nobody in the United States wants this war. Like nobody, maybe Donald Trump and a group of neocon warhawks and Netanyahu bootlickers and others, they maybe want this war, but most Americans do not want this. Our economy is suffering. By the way, gas prices are going up right now, not down. Gas prices are now heading up to $4 a gallon again. Donald Trump can try his gimmicks with, I'm doing 25 Freedom gas stations in Pennsylvania. Like, okay, how are you funding these things? And gas there is $3.47 because I'm the 47th president. They went up to $3.57 though, and it's being subsidized by some source. But it's 25 stations when there's 150,000 like gas stations in the United States of America. And that same gas station that's been rebranded as Trump Freedom Center sounds a little communist to me. Well, when Biden was in office, it was $2.99 a gallon. When Trump was in office in 2025, it was like $3.15 or $3.10 a gallon in 2025. So great work, it's higher. But we all know that gas prices are high and going up, and Americans can't afford anything. Oh, by the way, senior U.S. officials are now just saying this. If we don't get the nuclear dust, we don't have a deal with Iran. Okay, well, did you read the memorandum of understanding that you signed and Donald Trump held up in Versailles? Because it says that before the nuclear file is discussed, there are preconditions, including giving Iran $300 billion, which was just a fraudulent provisions that the United States never attempted to do or never attempted to even request other Arab nations do. How do we know that? When Rubio was in the Middle East, he goes, why would I ever talk about that? It required the U.S. to unfreeze funds to Iran, which the United States never did. It required a true and durable ceasefire in Lebanon. And then shortly after the MOU was entered into, 24 days ago, what did the United States do? They entered into a separate MOU with Israel and Lebanon that basically says that Israel has control over southern Lebanon and so-called security zones for the foreseeable future, which directly contradicted the MOU with Iran. So at every step of the way, they were never going to get to the nuclear file. And also, senior U.S. officials say the following. Iran told them, this is what the senior U.S. officials are saying too, as they spread their lies after the market closed. A senior U.S. official said Iran told them that these shipping attacks came from an errant part of their system, that when Iran said from their Navy, remember over the VHF signal, Seipan Navy, you must use the IRGC route or we will shoot. And then they said, Seipan Navy, we have shot your ship, we have shot your tanker for not using the IRGC route. This is Seipan Navy, this is a warning to all other ships. Use the route that's designated by the IRGC and you will be safe. Use the other routes, we will shoot you. Well, according to the U.S. officials, they said that was an errant part of their system and Iran was like, we're sorry, we didn't mean to do that. I mean, the propaganda from the United States is not even good propaganda. It's like the dumbest, stupidest stuff they're putting out right there that they expect people to believe. And ultimately, what's the goal? Like, what is the strategy here? The strategy is just to threaten, I'm going to huff and puff and blow your civilization, and that's going to scare Iran?
Yeah. Like I said, the strategy, and it's going to become clear the closer we get to the midterms. The strategy is delay and use the war as an excuse to cancel elections or reject the reject the election results. Bruh, what are y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do when he comes out and says it's rigged, we're not accepting it? Or it's like, they're rigging it, so I'm canceling the election. Or something like, we're at war with Iran, so I'm canceling the election. What are y'all gonna do? I'm gonna take my happy ass to Palacios. I'm gonna go to the strip club. I'm gonna throw some no, I don't throw ones in the way. I ain't got money like that. But I'm definitely gonna be front row in my favorite seat. No, I'm not gonna drink. With a non-alcoholic beer in my fucking hand, being like, "Hey, Candy, did you hear what happened? Guess what? I said it. I told him. I've been telling y'all. Look at my Twitch. Look at my YouTube. Look at all of it. I've been saying it. I told y'all." Oh, it's gonna be so sad. Very bittersweet. Very bittersweet. I like bittersweet though. I like lemonade. I like a little, something to pucker your lips lemonade. I like a warhead. It's gonna be a warhead. It's gonna be a warhead for everybody. That we're like, ooh, what happened? What is this? It's like, that's karma, bitch. This is what happens when you don't fucking help Daniel protest. This is what happens when you don't subscribe to Daniel's fucking YouTube. This is what happens when you allow fucking Republicans to take power with a fucking rapist tyrant. Like, this is what happens. I'm so fucking sad.
Well, clearly that's not working. What you're showing, what the Trump regime is showing, is that this will just be a constant harassment, a constant predatorial behavior. So Iran's response is, okay, well, of course we're going to control the Strait of Hormuz. That's our leverage here. That's our discussion. And by the way, we also will control the Bab el-Mandab Strait through the Houthis in Yemen. We haven't even played that card yet. And that's where this could all be heading, folks. And one of the things I also pointed out as well from my reporting this morning is that the United States has put 2 aircraft carriers right there in the Persian Gulf, as close as it's ever been to the coast of Iran. You've got the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS George H.W. Bush, respectively around 250 kilometers to 220 kilometers from Iran's coast, well within Iran's ability to hit.
To back up what I'm saying, to give you all an insight of what I'm seeing, what is driving this terrible, fucking unconscionable, inconceivable future for the United States of America. Here we go. This is from PBS News. With planning for the midterm elections well underway, President Trump has ousted the remaining members of a bipartisan federal agency that helps state and local officials run smooth elections and certify voting equipment. I wonder why you'd fire bipartisan members of a federal agency that may help run state and local elections and certify voting equipment. That is a fucking mystery to do that. I wonder why. Oh, actually, I know why. Fucking Daniel, Good Samaritan 1025. He said that they're preparing to either cancel or reject the voting results. That's what Daniel said, man. We should have listened to that guy. We should have fucking listened to that handsome bastard.
To those carriers with missiles, I think the U.S. is trying to create a Gulf of Tonkin-like incident, which led to the escalation of the Vietnam War with Lyndon Johnson in 1964, where the United States then made up that there was an attack by the South Vietnamese regarding ship and that never actually happened. And I think that's what we're going to be, that's what the U.S. is trying to do there. I think the U.S. will reinstate the blockade very soon, and I think things are headed clearly down an escalatory trap, obviously. When you got Donald Trump building fencing around the White House, apparently he's claiming he's terrified that Iran wants to assassinate him and kill him. You have Netanyahu allegedly telling Donald Trump that Iran wants to kill you.
Why does the White House need more security? Like, another thing is too, these people are like, oh my God, the Chinese communists, we gotta protect ourselves from the Chinese communists. And, oh yeah, Iran's a threat. Iran is threat to who? To your bitch ass? Like, why are you so bitch made? Why are you scared of the fucking communists? Why are you scared of Iran? Donald Trump destroyed their navy, destroyed their air force. Their military has been vaporized. Donald Trump said it, so it has to be true. So why are we supposed to be afraid of them? Because we have the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the National Guard, and the most weaponized civilians in the world, all here to protect our land. Listen, I think we're going to be okay. I think that we don't have to worry about Chinese communists overthrowing our government. Do you see his entourage? He has like 200 Secret Service members at all times. And the National Guard and the military is like, let's see. Google Gemini. I want Google Gemini. I gotta stop paying for this shit. How close is the nearest military base? Oh, I'm on a list now. To the White House. I think it's Fort Bragg. Three miles. There's a Navy base, there's an Army base, and there's a military base. All within 3 fucking miles of the White House. Why would the White House need security upgrades like a fence if the military is within 3 miles of the White House? What the fuck? What the fuck? 3 miles? I'm pretty sure you can get a helicopter there in 5 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me? While having military bases just 3 miles provides mass strategic advantage, it doesn't solve the immediate tactical problems of perimeter vision. Physical security distance equals time, and 3 miles is simply too far away for a sudden and localized intrusion. Now shut the fuck up. There's already a fence! There's already a fence! Secret Service, not the military. The security experts use a strategy called defense in depth, meaning they build a concentric ring of protection, outer ring. The upgraded 13-foot iron fence recently doubled in height from the old 6-foot fence, complete with anti-claim Climbing spikes and crash-rated concrete foundations. Middle ring, Secret Service snipers on the roof. K9 units on the lawn. And plainclothes agents mixing with the public. Oh, wow. Inner ring, heavily armed security service. Emergency response teams inside and immediately around the building. Strategic backup. The military installations located 3 miles away. Oh my god. Why are we... They're just bitch. They're just bitch.
And that's why Donald Trump didn't take the Qatari Air Force One and took the old Air Force One, although intelligence communities has said that that the Israeli information was not considered fully credible. Officials decided his new Qatari donated jet lacked some of the defensive capabilities. And while all of this is going on, look at what Donald Trump's doing. He's posting weird photos of himself holding a revolver, and he's posting the following. The base of the magnificent White House face around the column area at its front door. It hasn't been fixed in decades, but you can see how beautiful it will soon be. This is representative of what we are doing in Washington, D.C. Beautification and no crime. People are saying that the city hasn't been or felt like this in 100 years. Oh, are these the people who are saying that Iran called that Iran? Hello, it's Iran here. We're calling to say we're sorry that was an errant missile that hit those tankers that were not using the IRGC route after the SEPA IRGC Navy warned them. Also, we really want peace. We're really, can we please do a deal? We really want, it's Iran calling. We really want to make a deal. Come on, folks. It's ridiculous. And it just makes the United States look so weak and pathetic. Weak and pathetic. Weak and pathetic. Anyway, hit subscribe.
Look at this. 6.4 million subscribers. So 6.4 million people. This should come up on their feed. This should come up on their subscription list. All right. It only has 14,000 likes. Wonder why? Because it has Iran in the title. So it's fucking buried in the algorithm. How many views does this have? How many views does this have? And then tell me. Okay. My Jesus, y'all.
This is embarrassing at best, but it's indicative of who they are. If you guys don't know who Gunther Eagleman is,
Cuck, bitch, asshole, racist, maggot, all the bad words that you want to call him. That's who Gunther is. He's one of the biggest influencers on Twitter. Literally just getting paid off of tweets.
he's a disgraced former cop.
Disgraced former cop.
One of the biggest MAGA voices on all of Twitter. 1.4 million followers, 964 posts a day. That dude posts more on Twitter than I could ever think about posting on any platform, and I post a ton of shit. This is what he was live tweeting on Twitter during the USA-Belgium World Cup match. Watch how quickly this piece of shit changes. USA goal alert. Every time Team USA scores tonight, post this image on your timeline. Let's flood Twitter with American pride and let everyone know Team USA has the best fans in the world, blah, 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 blah. Tonight, it's win or go home. Belgium may be known as the Red Devils, but today USA has 90 minutes to write its own history. Let's stand behind our boys, play with heart, and send the Red Devils, blah, 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 blah. Then there's the epic flyover for the game. Belgium scores first, 1-0. Then we have let's fucking go. USA ties it up 1-1. Then we have Belgium scores again, 2-1. First half update. Waffles 2, USA 1. This is America's second half. No excuses, no panic, just heart, pressure, and belief. Go win this. Belgium scores again, up 3-1. If you're an American, who are you rooting for tonight? USA, Belgium. And then, after the loss, soccer? Never heard of her. Hey, Grok, how many more days until the real football season starts? And then the emojis. American football is greater than soccer ball. Which tells you just how quickly this piece of shit's going to drop Trump.
Right. They all wanted to end birthright citizenship. But then a birthright citizenship child, a supposed anchor baby, was the top scorer for USA in the FIFA World Cup. And so they were like, oh yeah, do everything you can to make sure this guy plays so he can win for us. Oh, they lost? Okay, well, deport him, end birthright citizenship, get him out of here, get him and his parents out of here. See, they didn't stop at illegal immigration. They have literally started to attack legal immigration. So it was never about illegal or legal. It's just about immigrants. It's just about brown immigrants. They don't want brown immigrants anymore. They think we have too many brown immigrants, too many brown people that look like me here in the United States, and they want to get rid of them. It's not working out. What the fuck is that? It is not working out for them so far.
Once Trump is gone, you know what I mean? This is what he is. This is all to make money off of Twitter. And yes, for those of you who are unaware, you can make actually decent money off of Twitter. When you have 1.4 million followers on Twitter, you're monetized, and you're posting as much as he posts, you're going to make a decent buck on Twitter. He doesn't give a shit one way or another. It's all about the clicks. It's all about the likes. It's all about the shares. It's all about the engagement. And the crazier shit he can say and get more people to engage, the more money he's going to make. He never gave a shit about soccer. He gave a shit about bragging about the USA winning. And as soon as they lost, it was, fuck this shit. It's not a real fucking sport. Well, why the fuck did you sit there and live tweet the scores of a sport that's not a real sport? It makes no sense.
They're walking contradictions. This is another story. That's why I've kind of been not wanting to post about, talk about, and stream about. But we need to have this hard conversation. We need Lorenzo Salgado Arejo. Is his name Salgado Arejo? We need to remember his name and try to get our country where we aren't killing people in the street, where we don't have masked men boxing in random work trucks and murdering people. You know, that would be a pretty good country. That'd be a country I'd be proud of. If we didn't have these fucking adrenaline junkies from the Proud Boys discriminating against brown people that look like me and my family. That would be pretty awesome, pretty great. I want to work towards that. But alas, we don't have that. We have the opposite of that. And even though it's a hard subject to talk about, and I'd much be rather going out with my friends on 6th Street. No, I need to save money, so this is actually good. But I'd much rather be doing that. And I would have money to do that if we didn't spend fucking billions of dollars on this Gestapo that's killing people in the streets. Yeah, yeah. I would much rather that, but we don't. So we have to watch this stuff. We have to talk about Salgado Arejo. I'm probably saying his name wrong. We gotta just. We gotta put in the work. We gotta make our own sacrifices. We have to put in the work. This doesn't. This timeline, this story, this terrible period in U.S. history doesn't end until we end it.
Here to talk about the fatal shooting in Houston by ICE agents of a man who had been in this country 35 years, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. And the whole thing is developing in the sort of worst nightmare fashion that you think.
I think I'm gonna try to drive down there and go to the memorial. It's 3 hours away. I think less than 3 hours. Next weekend, that's what I'll do. I'll just drive down there and go to the memorial. I don't know if I'll make a YouTube about it. I probably should, but I'd rather not. Yo, that's my best friend's dad. He eventually got his green card, but not until after spending 21 years here illegally. But that's a father, that's a brother, a husband, an uncle, just working hard to provide for his family, gunned down in the street because this administration is racist against black and brown people. Like, that's all it is. We're just back 50 years when we're racist against black and brown people. You can't fucking drink here, wear your papers.
Of now whenever you hear ICE has killed someone. So the contradictions of ICE's account, the whole sort of circumstances, story of the victim is absolutely stomach wrenching, and it's looking like it's just going to be getting worse. Here's the headline from yesterday. So we have the predictable, and in the past I might have said predictable. That doesn't make it false. But in the present and with ICE, I say predictable and pretty dubious account by ICE. And here is what it is. This man weaponized his vehicle, the very term, the very verb used about Renee Good, to try to ram into and run down and kill an ICE agent who shot him in self-defense. That is the official statement from ICE, based on not a goddamn thing, just unattributed hearsay from the scene. So you get the killing, you get the statement. Now, the victim, Salgado Araujo, was, it's early in the morning, before 7 a.m. He is driving 3 friends, one of them's a brother, to the work site, a construction site, when all this happens. And so he is killed, and then the other 3 are taken into custody. We haven't heard from them directly, and the reports are that ICE somehow is trying to get them to self-deport. Now, does that mean all of them are of some kind of questionable legal status? We don't know, but what we do know is if they self-deport, the most important evidence, as far as we can tell now, to contradict ICE agents would deport with them. And what is that evidence? We now have an account of it because a lawyer, it's the lawyer's word, but the lawyer said that he spoke with all three of them separately, which is, you know, the protocol that law enforcement would use rather than gathering them together, which he probably couldn't have done because they're being detained. And they just flatly contradict what the ICE agents say. Their account, most importantly, to a person says, there was never an ICE van in front of us. There was no way for Lorenzo to somehow weaponize his vehicle because there was nothing to weaponize, nothing to direct. On the contrary, first one and then a second ICE van, but unmarked, pulled up on either side of us. And to fill in another detail, they are driving to work. They take a right-hand turn. Here is an ICE van coming right at them. They do a U-turn at that point. Now, you could try to say this wouldn't conceivably justify use of deadly force, but you could try to say they're fleeing, except the witnesses say, no. There was a car there. We were impeded. He did a U-turn. He was going about 5 miles per hour on what appears to be rugged, muddy terrain. At that point, both the first joined by a second come up on either side of them, and to hear them tell it, they basically hem in the victim's car, and one of them, the shooter, we don't know who it is yet, ICE circles around and circles the wagons and protects its own, comes out shooting, and a really important detail, from the side. This was the same thing that we zeroed in on with Renee Good. Remember this supposed weaponized car driving right at him? We know that the fatal shot, whether it was the second or third shot, was from the window on the side, which means almost certainly you're not in any danger. You can't use self-defense. So the account of these three, and this is the testimony we have. We don't even have, I'm sure they will have taken statements from the shooters or anyone who was there on the scene, but we don't even have.
I doubt they did. Maybe they did. But we'll never see that shit. Actually, I don't want to say never. A lot of the even worse stuff that they're doing is gonna come out. Not now. Once the power is wrested away from him, once we have got him out of the office and put Republicans back in the racist basements that they come from, we're gonna find us. We're adding chapters to the history books. That's what we're doing.
Anything from official from, well, anyone at this point, and in particular this.
Harry, are you gonna show us? I need visual aids, Harry.
The three.
I need fucking visual aids, Harry. Media. Alright, so let's see. This is the van. This is the van. So, yo, I think, yeah, they're in like a fucking Subaru, bro. They're in a fucking Subaru just driving up on them like that. So he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go around this fucking crazy guy in a Subaru. Oh, and no, they've shot him, and the car is just going. The car is not in park. They've shot him, and the car is. That's so sad.
Months along.
Jacqueline and Erube Zunu Robledo were driving through the 6th and Potomac intersection when a man erratically driving a white
Operation. ICE claims Lorenzo Salgado Araujo rammed a law enforcement vehicle with his van and tried to run over an agent. And ICE says their agent fired in self-defense.
Oops. Yeah, exactly. The video shows no damage to the vehicle of the man ICE killed in Houston. Yes, I mean,
ICE claims Lorenzo.
If you ram a vehicle, maybe right here, there might be damage. But if you ram a vehicle with something like this, I would imagine there'd be more damage.
Salgado Araujo rammed a law enforcement vehicle with his van and tried to run over an agent. And ICE says their agent fired in self-defense. They claim Lorenzo Salgado Araujo wasn't authorized to be in the United States, and he died at the hospital operation. ICE claims
it's fucking disgusting.
Him over. You can see Salgado here making a U-turn. There it is right there. The white van makes the U-turn as you're going to see the unmarked car took him over.
Okay. So he's here. He goes here. They block him in. He makes a U-turn here. Okay.
You can see Salgado here making a U-turn. There it is right there. The white van makes the U-turn as you're going to see the unmarked car here in black trying to force the car going the opposite direction.
Okay, so that would explain the damage to the front of the vehicle, just a little bit damaged there. So maybe he did make contact with them, but I mean, you're putting his car, your fucking Subaru in front of him. Like, what the fuck do you expect?
Now, this is right before Salgado is ultimately shot. You're going to see the SUV pull over. Here's a closer look in front of the van after the truck passes by. Salgado makes the U-turn. He reverses for a moment. He heads west, him over. You can see Salgado here making a U-turn. There it is right there. The white van makes the U-turn as you're going to see the unmarked car here in black trying to force the car going the opposite direction. Now, this is right before Salgado is ultimately shot. You're going to see the SUV pull over. Here's a closer look in front of the van after the truck passes by. Salgado makes the U-turn. He reverses for a moment. He heads west, him over. You can see Salgado here making a U-turn. There it is right
Bro. This is back in Chicago. Look at this. This is when they shot Alex Pretty. Unarmed man. Another unarmed man dead.
People who would know. Take a step back. Yes, the feds want to do immigration, but they want...
That was him.
ICE agents have killed another person, per reports.
Here's what we know about the man that ICE shot and killed this morning in Houston, Texas, and the lies that they're already spreading about him. The person has been identified as Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, originally from Mexico. And to no surprise, ICE is already putting out the same kind of communication that it always does when one of its agents killed someone. That this was a targeted operation, and that the driver, Lorenzo, refused to follow instructions and weaponized his vehicle, and that he attempted to run over an ICE agent who used his weapon in self-defense. According to reports, Lorenzo was struck in the stomach. He was rushed to a hospital in the area where he was pronounced dead. Reports are saying that 3 other people on the scene were detained. Right-wingers have already gone online to try and spread mis and disinformation about Lorenzo, saying that this is Lorenzo, when this person was arrested for another crime and is not Lorenzo at all. So if you see people using this picture, correct them. And as always, do not believe DHS or ICE's account of what happened. They always rush to their favorite news channels or influencers to try and control the narrative, to try and paint the person they shot and killed as the aggressor. But then as soon as the video is released, we see that they are lying about what happened or spreading mis and disinformation. So we need them to release the body cam as quickly as possible to know what actually happened today.
The deceased, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, is this man right here. DHS, in their own words, wrote, Araujo was part of a, quote, targeted enforcement operation to arrest an illegal alien.
Nuestro objetivo es ir más allá.
Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico.
Oh, I forgot about this. This is gonna play out interesting. This is gonna be. I'm glad she's stepping up. I think the international community is done playing nice with Trump. That they're like, we're not entertaining this fucking senile old man anymore. He's costing us real money. He's costing real lives. We need to stand up to this bully because it's got us nothing. Nothing is better. Nothing is working. We're looking at a global conflict because of one fucking man. Yeah, well, 2 men if you think about it. And Claudia, she's like, enough is enough. Like, we want charges. We want fucking charges.
Treat. Of our brothers who are in the United States. She would also add, we are considering other measures after the deaths of migrants in ICE custody.
An ICE officer has fatally shot an undocumented man from Mexico in Houston. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo allegedly ignored orders during a vehicle stop, the Department of Homeland Security claims. They said he tried to ram an agent who then fired his weapon in self-defense. Social media footage shows 2 agents crouched over a man lying in the street on the driver's side of a white van. ICE targeted the Mexican national, believing he was living illegally in the US. He was taken to hospital but later died from a single shot to the abdomen. His son said his father was a hard-working Mexican man who has been in the US for almost 35 years. He was in the process of getting a work permit. The shooting sparked a protest and calls for an independent investigation. The incident comes as immigration enforcement has been heavily ramped up under the Trump administration.
Mainstream outlets in Europe have picked up on the story as well.
I saw my dad's van, but no sign of him. I frantically called family, friends, loved ones to see if they can find any information. I saw a video posted on Facebook that he had been shot. I recognized him immediately. Not from his appearance, but from his voice, crying for help as he lay on the street, bleeding out. I went to the Bentop Hospital and demanded answers, but no one could give them to me. I learned of my father's passing from a news report on social media. Not the hospital, not law enforcement. Through a collective effort from local organizations and elected officials, we got answers. my father's death was confirmed. I had to call my mom right away to give her the terrible news of my dad's passing before she had to find out the same way I did.
From the Telegraph, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo worked for 35 years from sunrise to sunset in order to send all 3 of his American kids to school/college. He'd been working towards securing legal status in the States after neglecting it as he built homes for his son. Newsday would report he had no criminal convictions during his decades living in the country and was driving a crew to a home building site when he was killed. That's from his family and Democratic United States Representative Sylvia Garcia. Now, the mayor of Houston, this man, John Whitmire, has gone on the record stating that he has declined to seek a citywide investigation into the shooting, claiming there cannot be a city investigation while a federal investigation is ongoing. The Chronicle would also report the stepdaughter of another man arrested by ICE during the encounter accused the officers of racial profiling. They just saw a couple of Hispanic men going to work, the stepdaughter said, so they decided to chase them down and follow them. They were targeted because they are Hispanic men. From the outlet once more, the shooting would come less than 3 months after Houston City Hall became embroiled in a really tense debate over police cooperation with the feds. The mayor ultimately backed amendments to the city's ICE policy after the governor of the state, Greg Abbott, would threaten to withhold more than $100 million in state grant funding, arguing the city needed to preserve its relationship with state officials. Look, that could very well be true, but what we have here right now is someone.
Your name would be better if it was Storm.
In his community, the mayor's community, who was killed. What you should be doing is going on offense as much as possible. Yeah, Greg Abbott is going to withhold funding if you investigate someone getting killed. I mean, think about, I also thought about this today, how Republicans are really coining themselves for decades as being pro-life, but they are truly the anti-life party. They want to meddle in the investigation, the FBI does, and the DOJ does,
DOJ is actively meddling in New Mexico's investigation of Zorro Ranch, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico. Wonder why they would do that. Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just let the state do it? Like, if there's nothing to hide there, like what? Well, what would be their interest in being involved with it at all, besides arresting, pedophiles?
With the murders that we saw in Minneapolis, they want to practically contaminate the site. They want to practically, in my view, contaminate any evidence whatsoever. They are okay with people being killed in this country if they don't meet the criteria, which changes, it seems like, every single day, of who is an American citizen. That is what they are saying. I mean, Folarin Balogun, now that the U.S. is out and he didn't score, I have seen conservative commentators say that he doesn't even
they want to deport him,
get to be a U.S. citizen because he didn't perform. They keep going over this stuff. And although we might have some critiques, we're not loud enough in them. I mean, they are going to dehumanize this man because he is a brown person and was not a certified American citizen, though he was here for over 30 years. They don't have, nor do they allot, any dignity whatsoever. There is no decorum. And you have a government, a federal government, that is putting out deputized, likely militia members and white supremacists, likely, cosplaying as ICE officers so they can go kill people. Think about that. I mean, we saw Alex Preddy get killed by veteran, I don't know why I put that in quotes, veteran Border Patrol agents. Minnesota's not the border.
So there were three other men in that work van with Lorenzo, and they are being threatened with, they're trying to force them to self-deport. You know, signs saying something, bro, that they'll, you know, go back to their country. But that's so they don't testify in court. But since Houston did back down on its policy of not cooperating with ICE, since they are still cooperating with ICE, you know, that's a two-way street. So ICE needs to cooperate with them, keep the witnesses in Texas and available for, you know, to testify. You're so cuddlies. You're so cuddlies.
Border, they're there. I mean, DHS has run amok. And there's a reason why so many candidates are not only polling well but winning, because it is time to abolish this entire division. It is time. It is time. It's been past time. And the longer that we allow them to continue operating in this form, there will be more people killed. There will be. Some may not be on video. Some may be in ICE custody. Some may be in CCOT in El Salvador. Some might be when they're getting deported, they just get killed. But who does that? Our federal government. That's who does it. Beyond shameful.
Just these people who are cheering this on, these disgusting people who are like siding with the government, killing people in the street, they're cucks. They are traitors to their conservative beliefs that we should have a small government and that government shouldn't be killing fucking people in the streets, no matter if their legal status. Oh my Jesus.
You know, just again, if you could have seen the respect and the love in the room, and it's love really for the country, for our country. I don't want to say me, because you'll say, oh, he's so conceited. He's such a conceited person. But they do. I mean, you know, they like the job I'm doing. They said, Sue, we love you.
He told I don't even like the Italian Prime Minister. She's too anti-immigrant for me. But he made up a lie. It said, it's not even a lie. He probably believes it because he's dementia, bro. That she begged for a picture with him, and she straight up came out like, no, you're not gonna fucking lie about what I was saying, alright? I did not want a fucking picture with you, you fat, ugly slob! Fuck, bro. Like, all of this shit is bad. All of this shit is piling up. The lies continue. And the American people, the globe, the international coalition like NATO are not only laughing at us, they're worried about us. They are worried about the threat that we are to their countries now, to their countrymen and women. Like, fuck me, bro.
It's a grown people saying that. Isn't that nice? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to get to me.
If you're looking for another example of how far the United States has fallen under Donald Trump's rule, then look no further than this explosive piece in the Wall Street Journal. According to the journal, nearly 30 European leaders gathered privately, left their phones behind, and spoke openly about how to reduce dependence on the United States because Trump had made America look unreliable, erratic, and potentially dangerous. I mean, the details around this are absolutely extraordinary, right?
In one word, it would be unity. And it is unity of all 32. It was something very special happening in that room.
You get President Trump coming in, throwing hand grenades, as it were, verbally, saying, I want to US needs to take control of Greenland. It's a big problem for us. Spain is a terrible partner, etc. And whatever is said behind closed doors, the impression that the outside world gets is that the unity isn't there.
It's a bit like in a family. You have families where you never quarrel.
Shut the fuck up. It is not a family. This is not a family. We're fucking grown-ass fucking adults talking about treaties and protecting our fucking nations with our people. Alright? At some point you have to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Stop making up lies. Stop attacking other countries. Stop threatening to pull out of NATO. Stop threatening NATO allies. Stop threatening to take over fucking countries that are allies with NATO. It's simple. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And we wouldn't be having these embarrassing talks. It's like a family. No. No, it's not like a family. We're talking about international relationships with fucking whole ass countries. What do you mean? Oh my god.
And then it bursts out completely. You get a sort of volcano and the whole thing is done.
We don't want volcanoes with international policy. We don't want volcanoes with fucking nations that have nuclear weapons. We don't want volcanoes when we have people with itchy fucking trigger finger. Oh my geez. Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Why is he talking and just, it's just, that's just what you see on the outside. Don't worry about the inside. Fuck you!
Or you have families like where I come from, where we love to sometimes fight each other a bit, not put it under the carpet, get the issues on the table, and then reunite because you stick together. Trump, for example, is completely committed to NATO. I know. Trump 45, I was Prime Minister, Trump 47, now as Secretary General of NATO, he is completely committed. But he has this one big issue where he's completely right, which is, hey, Mark, is it?
You're a cuck. You're a fucking cuck. You want Trump to come fuck your wife. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
It's fair that we spend so much more on this whole thing than the Europeans and the Canadians. And we are now solving that. That was his big success in the Hague. We are now delivering. Since Eisenhower, this has been debated, and he is delivering. So, commitment, yes, but also clear expectation.
We're talking about nearly 30 national leaders, allies of the United States, reportedly gathering at the headquarters in Brussels. It was close to midnight, no cameras, no recordings, no phones, and leaders came alone so that they could speak candidly. And the subject of the conversation was not a run-of-the-mill policy dispute. It was how to manage the rupture between NATO countries and the United States with Donald Trump at the helm. Some reportedly later compared it to a group therapy session. According to the reporting, Emmanuel Macron told the room there was, quote, no going back. The president of France was reportedly telling Europe that the dependence on the United States had become a security risk. That is how far Donald Trump has dragged America from our allies. And the immediate trigger was Trump's threat involving Greenland.
On Greenland, he has confidence that the negotiations will play out. Or do you think the U.S. will have to annex Greenland ultimately? Greenland.
Well, that's what hurt my relationship with NATO, because Greenland doesn't help Denmark. Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland, but it's an important part for the United States. and it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. Ships, it's not going to happen. It was Greenland that, and it continues to be, that should be controlled by the United States, not by Denmark. And when they wouldn't go along with it, and with all the money we spend to help them with Russia, and we don't have to spend any money, we could remove all of our soldiers out of Europe. Because as you probably noticed, Europe's a very different place than it was 20 years ago. A lot different, much different. Much different, and they're going to be careful with immigration and energy. If they're not careful with those two things, you're not going to have a Europe anymore. Okay, thank you very much.
As has been well documented, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Danish kingdom, and Denmark is a NATO ally. And Trump obviously cared little about any of that, as he repeatedly suggested he might take Greenland by force. And while his threats have gone by the wayside in comparison to his other foreign policy endeavours, like, say, new wars in the Middle East that he promised he would never engage in, it appears that European leaders and reporters have not forgotten, as one Danish reporter called to attention the despicable behaviour of the NATO representative Mark Rutte, as he caters to the president without ever addressing this matter like they should just move on.
No. Like, if your job is to, like, protect NATO countries, it's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk about taking NATO by force. Don't talk about taking NATO at all. Is that so hard? Is that so difficult? It's just like, yo, stop. Stop. Focus on your war with Iran, bro.
The Wall Street Journal report also states how Belgium's Prime Minister warned that Europe risked becoming a, quote, miserable slave to the United States, and at the most recent NATO summit, the head of NATO was grilled by many reporters who said, quote, you sit next to Donald Trump at moments when he talks about conquering Greenland, talks about lashing out at allies like Spain, things it doesn't seem like the old Mark Rutte would approve of. Does this have any effect on your self-respect when you sit there and say nothing? Bam.
Rasmus Veneborg from the Danish news agency, yes, Danish news agency Ritzau. Mark, you sit next to Donald Trump in moments where he talks about conquering Greenland, talks about lashing out at allies like Spain, starting trade wars, things that it doesn't seem like the old Mark Rutte would approve of. Does this have any effect on your self-respect when you sit next to him like that and say nothing?
You know, what I always do is acknowledge when praise is due, and I think we should praise Donald Trump for the fact that NATO is so much.
Why do we have to offer him grace? Why do we have to give him flowers? Why do we have to cater to him? What has he done internationally to make the world better? He has forced other countries to cut spending from their social projects to fund their military. He has caused them to lose business because, you know, people couldn't keep selling to the US because of tariffs. Like, there is not an international policy. He's cut US aid that's literally caused clinics to be closed around the world. It's precipitated a Ebola outbreak in Africa. The clinics closing have caused hundreds of thousands of deaths so far. Do they think that if they're rude to him, or they call him out, or if they stand up to a bully, he's gonna get worse? Do they not see that it's already getting worse? Like, where, who, why do you think that sucking his fucking balls is going to help you, bro? Where is your self-respect?
Of course, it has to do with the Russian threat, it has to do with the war in Ukraine, but it very much also has to do with President Trump delivering now what since Eisenhower the United States tried to achieve, equalizing spending between the US and Europe. And it makes Europe stronger. It makes Europe more relevant for the United States as a...
Because they're, instead of spending money on their citizens, they're spending money on the military. Okay? And I think all of our countries could spend less money on our military and more money on their civilians. So he is definitely not helping the civilians. But equal pay in NATO, I mean, whatever, bro. Whatever.
Partner. So that is the transformative.
And you see, like, that's his only line. He's like, oh, but, you know, this is good. This is good. Don't worry about my self-respect.
Character of this summit, of what happened in The Hague, the implementation since The Hague, this summit as a point in time where we take stock. And I think that's extremely important. And when it comes to Greenland, I already explained. We had a meeting in Davos. And I said, I agree with you when it comes to Russia, when it comes to China, gaining access to the High North. But let's do this together. We have NATO for this. Let's work together on this. This is exactly what we are doing.
But at its core, the report of all these leaders gathering in secret to discuss the President of the United States and how to move forward, potentially without them as a key ally, it's extraordinary, right? I mean, under previous presidents, you would think these countries would gather as a means to strengthen the relationship, because America meant stability, access, protection, security. Now European leaders are reportedly debating how to get away from American dependence because Trump has turned that dependence into vulnerability.
Yesterday, with respect to Prime Minister Maloney, that True Social post with the restraining order.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a nice person, actually. We've had a good, we had a bad relationship. It became a little bad because she refused to help us. Again, I didn't put a heavy press on her, but she refused to get involved with the Hormuz Strait, or you could also say just Iran. She refused to get involved. So it soured my relationship with her a little bit. But I like her. I think she's a nice person, actually. But I think she made a mistake. You know, they get a lot of their oil from... We don't get any of it. We have a lot of oil. The United States has more oil than anybody. And when you add Venezuela to it, it's like we have far more...
Just adding Venezuela like it's our country and we can do what we want with their national resources, natural resources. That's the talk of a predator. That's the talk of an abuser. That's how a fucking rapist talks. It's like, we can do whatever we want with that body because we own that body now. You know, it's really disgusting.
More oil than anyone. We don't need the straits. We do this because we think it's an important thing to do. But she just wasn't there for us. And I wasn't happy about that. You can imagine, I wasn't happy about that.
And what has never been more evident is how these leaders are trying to cater to the president. The European leaders are reportedly debating how to get away from American dependence because The Guardian reports that NATO leaders are trying to mollify Trump and Trump-proof the current summit. I mean, that phrase alone is humiliating, right? Trump-proof. We're talking about not only a fully grown adult, or some would argue not so much, but the leader of the free world here. The alliance is not simply planning strategy against Russia, China, Iran, or terrorism. They're planning strategy against the volatility of the American president.
Laughed at our country. They thought we were a bunch of fools. They saw a president that couldn't talk, he couldn't walk. It was a disaster. They lost respect for our country, but now they have more respect for our country than they've ever had before. Thank you all very much. We'll see you back. Thank you very much, everybody.
Which is one of the most beautiful in the world. It's one of the biggest, the Abraham Lincoln. And 2 months ago, we had 100, I told this story yesterday, we had 111 missiles shot by the Islamic Republic of Japan. They were shot at the aircraft carrier over a period of about 1 hour. 111 missiles going to a very expensive ship, and every one of those missiles was knocked down.
And one former NATO spokesperson reportedly described success at the summit as getting through it with no angry outbursts from the president or ruffling any feathers so that he would withhold any sort of funding. That is where America stands now with its allies. The bar for a successful NATO summit is Trump not throwing a fit or making up more claims that other leaders were begging for pictures with him. That's not leadership. That's what we call babysitting.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at Midas Plus.
Yeah, and then this is the end game. This is where they're so emboldened by the president. They're so open with their racism and misogyny. This is what they're advocating for now. They want to take away women's right to vote. They took away women's right to body autonomy. They took away women's rights to control over their health care. And now they're like, you know what? Let's just take away their right to vote. That way we don't have to worry about them taking back their rights for body autonomy and health care. Let's go ahead and do that, y'all.
MAGA is and how extreme these Republicans are. But every now and then you get slapped across the face with reality because they say the quiet part loud. Well, here is Pete Kegsbreath, the Secretary of War Crimes. This is his pastor. His name is Doug Wilson, and he did an interview with NPR. Listen to what he says here.
Now, you've called for repealing women's right to vote, which is protected by the 19th Amendment.
Right.
Why?
Because it's a good idea.
Oh my, look at his fucking smile. Look at his fucking creeper ass smile, bro. This guy, check his hard drive. Check his hard drive, bro.
No,
a lot of women wouldn't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Too many women agree with him. That's for damn sure. We gotta do something about that. That's what I was thinking about in the car. I was like, okay, so I want to think maybe a year in the future, hopefully 2 years, not more than 2 years in the future, when Trump is out of office and we're dealing with the fallout. We're dealing with back to common sense, back to taking care of the people. Back to racists and misogynists and bigots are not cool, and not killing people in the streets or shooting people in the streets. Back to that shit. I wanna know, what do we do with these people? What do we do with the 30% of people who still support Trump? What do we do with the people who think that we should be taking away women's rights? I'm not sure. I am all out of fucks to give for those people. Kyle brings up a good point in that maybe we should just let them live on their own policies, like outside of the government, outside of, the Democrats. Outside of the Democrats, donor states, make them live off their own revenue streams and their own tax policies. Maybe we should do that and just let them, flounder a bit. This fucking guy, we should definitely check his hard drive, and he should probably go to jail. He should definitely not be a leader of a church. Definitely not be a leader of a Christian church. Disgusting, gross. Don't trust him around kids. Don't trust him about women.
A lot of women wouldn't agree. All right, but this is this is one of my favorite questions now too. This is not an XXXY chromosome issue. Because I don't want women voting as individuals.
So according,
he doesn't want women voting as individuals. He wants the man to vote for them. He wants the man to vote for them. Yeah. Everything in my being, everything that I've grown up, that's just not gonna happen. If I have to chain myself to a fucking tree or something to prove it, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to fucking do.
according to him, women shouldn't have the right to vote. Tell me why this isn't the Christian Taliban. Tell me why this isn't Christian Al-Qaeda or ISIS. Please, I'll wait. Because the fact of the matter is, if he's willing to take that position, what's he not telling you? What he's not telling you is that he's probably in favor of open racial segregation. He's probably in favor of bringing back slavery, because that's in the Bible. They give directions about how to treat your slaves in the Bible. So what are these people not in favor of? I think the answer is the closest thing to their ideology is to look at the Taliban over in Afghanistan. I think that's the closest thing to their ideology. And so people need to understand, as I've said 1,000 times, the Republican Party is no longer a political party. It's a terrorist death cult. That's what it is. And you can't come up with a bad idea that they don't either secretly or overtly support, okay? So I need everybody to wake up. I need everybody to wrap their minds around the actual danger here. And look, it should come as no surprise to anybody that this guy's student, the Secretary of War Crimes, is the one who's been leading the charge for bombing hospitals and schools and bridges and power plants in Iran. He's the one who's been directly ordering the war crimes and blowing up innocent fishermen in the Pacific and in the Caribbean. So when I tell you they're immoral, oh, I mean it. Some people would say they're amoral in the sense that they lack any moral compass. No, they have a moral compass, and they actively want to do evil. They want to do harm. They want to bring about destruction and violence and terror. So this is, and I'm very comfortable saying this group of people is the most dangerous group of people on planet Earth. And it's not because they're more evil than other types of evil people, but it's because they have all the money, they have all the power, and they control the world's largest empire. And so they can do so much damage with their ideology. So it's just a warning for everybody, man. You got to wake up. This is the Christian Taliban. This is Christian Al-Qaeda or Christian ISIS. If they're willing to say women shouldn't have the right to vote, they're also in favor of, at the very least, segregation, probably slavery. They want to roll the clock back in every imaginable way, take away people's rights, implement the most disgusting system you've ever seen in your life. These are terrorists. That's what they are. And it's kind of crazy to me that they're treated as legitimate. That's the other thing, is like, I know she's sort of doing this interview to expose him, and that's why NPR is doing it, but at the same time, like, what's the point? I don't even get it. Like, at this point, I don't even understand why they interview the president. Like, literally everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. What's the point in saying, here, sir, go ahead and lie?
Yeah, at some point you gotta be like, you know what? Like, just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Your opinion is racist. Your opinion is misogynist. Your opinion is that of a bigot. So, go to your little safe space on Discord. Go to your little safe space on Reddit. Stay in the basement. We don't really need you in our society. You're not contributing. You're actually a negative on society. You make our society worse. You're not living a Christian life. I don't want to interact with you. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want my friends to be friends with you.
For fucking 30 minutes, and then we'll try to debunk maybe like 25% of your lies and let the rest of it sit. And it's like, I don't know, man, this has got to be doing damage to the body politic. This has got to be like poisoning everybody's brains, okay? Let's not do that anymore. Nobody should put a microphone in front of these people's faces. And if we're being serious here, the leaders of this movement should all be fucking locked up because they're just that dangerous and they prove it day in and day out.
All right. You know what? Fuck that. I'm not watching this. This Graham Plattner, I'm sad to see him go. I understand why he's leaving. It just had to be done. It's just the accusations against him, although just accusations, they're damning, and with like everything on top of it is like, okay, bud, like, sorry, we gotta believe the woman. We gotta really live that standard about believing women, and we're not gonna just put it under the rug or dust it under the rug, even though, you know, you might be innocent. Just, we want to be on the high road because Trump is a rapist. So, I don't know. Let's just see. Checkmate. Is this the one?
Hello and welcome to Checkmate, the debate show where fact-checking your opponent wins you the game.
Freedom of speech is protecting freedom of speech that you hate.
Nope. Black kids that come from the wealthiest families commit the same amount of crime, or even more than.
The first Checkmate prompt is, whose policies are better for quality of life and affordability?
Alright, we'll watch a little bit of this. And then maybe I'll go join my friends out on 6th Street and have a little fun in my life, because this shit was depressing as fuck. But yeah, I guess, yeah, this kind of rounds out what I was saying. What do we do? What do we do? Really, Guardian? Really? What are we doing with these people? What are we doing with the people who still believe he's doing a good job? What are we gonna do with the people who thinks it's okay for brown people and protesters and observers to be gunned down in the street by masked men? What are we gonna do with the people who want to treat immigrants like shit? What are we gonna do with the people who attack Muslims? What are we gonna do with the people who think that it's okay that Trump grabs them by the pussy? Huh? What are we gonna do with the women who fucking said they would sleep with Donald Trump? What are we gonna to do with these people, but this is like an insight into how their brain works. It definitely works different than normal people. Fucking their brains are gymnasts, bro. They're fucking gymnasts. All the turns and twists and the fucking pretzels that they have to put themselves in to defend this shit.
Liberals or conservatives? Heads or tails? Heads.
Tails.
All right. Tails.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Your time starts now.
Okay, so when I think about quality of life,
Dominique Boo Boo Bear. Listen. I am not a hater of Caucasian, melanin deficient people. I think some of you are very beautiful people. But your spray tan to look like us brown people, and then your hate of brown people, I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. I think that's kind of weird. I think that you're projecting a little bit.
tend to first think about things like healthcare, right? Like you want to live a long time. So I want to first...
Universal health care will increase the lifespan of American citizens. If you don't believe in universal health care for U.S. citizens, you don't believe we should live longer? Okay, cool. That's not a very good policy, bro.
Start by talking about affordability with our healthcare in this country. So I assume as a conservative, you're not a fan of Obamacare.
The Affordable Care Act did indeed not make healthcare affordable, but it did decrease the amount of uninsured individuals.
Which is a good thing, I would think, right?
Well, the idea of decreasing those who are uninsured is great, but the affordable part of the Affordable Care Act actually didn't make insurance more affordable. It actually doubled people's premiums. It doubled deductibles by 100+%.
So as I would say, I don't think Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, went far enough, right? We can agree on that. I'm way more progressive than what the Affordable Care Act did. But again, we're talking about affordability in terms of having healthcare cost less in this country. When people go to emergency rooms and they don't have preventative care, that means that we are paying more ultimately as a taxpayer. Is that what you want as a conservative?
No, but again, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, it decreased network sizes, it decreased physicians within networks, and it hasn't actually produced better healthcare options.
Except for the people who are insured now. Except for those people who have health insurance and who are able to get preventative care and don't end up in the hospital anymore. You see, they're stuck on this one issue while ignoring the other benefits of this issue. Case in point, like the border. It's like, oh, okay, he closed out the border, but border's closed and everything. Immigration's down, over 50% total, legal immigration even. Why isn't our economy getting better? Why are there less jobs? Riddle me that, Batman.
For Americans, it's increased the cost for privatized health insurance.
But you just admitted people who are more insured.
Being insured, but that insurance not covering what you need, or there being higher deductibles, doesn't mean the outcome is better health care.
But what is better, right? Do you want them to just not be insured at all? Do you want there to be no caps, no insurance, nothing, no regulation?
Deductibles have increased for families by 100%. So the cost has actually been absorbed by the American people. So I wouldn't say that that's
Yeah. So if we're paying anyways, why don't we just do Medicare for all? This is what I'm saying. What do we do with these people? What the fuck do we do with these people? We're paying anyway. We're paying an increase anyways. Why don't we just do Medicare for all and everybody gets the fucking... the same deal that Medicare for all, that Medicare old people get. They don't have to pay shit. Pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. That would make oh my jeez. That would make healthcare for everybody cheaper, bro.
Net benefit just because the number of uninsured decreased from 14% to 8%.
Where should the cost be absorbed?
Private health industry.
And how is that going to help? Isn't the private health industry literally the entire reason why we have these insane costs for things like insulin to begin with?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of big pharma. I think we should incentivize.
You literally just wait.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. You're a fucking contradiction, bro. They're like, okay. You're not a fan of big pharma. You blame the fucking health insurance industry for jacking up prices. What is the solve for that? What can we possibly fucking do to stop big pharma and health insurance companies from profiting off of Americans for being sick? What's your solution? What policy? That's what you should ask her. What conservative policy would get us lower healthcare? Lower healthcare. What conservative policy are you proposing that would lower the cost of healthcare and increase the quality of life for American citizens? Hers is Medicare for all. Okay, that's hers and mine is like, okay, we want a policy that lowers the cost of healthcare and increases the quality of life for Medicare for all. Medicare for all will extend American citizens' lifespans and cut the costs of healthcare. So please, let me know what you think.
It's not the same as pharmaceuticals.
You just said that you want it to be more privatized.
Yeah, for health insurance.
But that doesn't make any sense if you care about affordability. Private insurance is the reason why our medications cost so much.
Increased the American families' cost of insurance by over 100%.
Bro, somebody should fact check her on this shit. Fact check on that shit. But, sweetie, honey, dearie, the answer is more capitalism. The answer is more health insurance. Oh my lord,
you
Dominic.
didn't contend with the American people should absorb 100% increase.
Well, actually, I want a Medicare for all system. Actually.
Okay, again, you can want that, but we're talking about cost of living and affordability.
If you want affordability, then you would be for Medicare for all.
We're gonna move on from healthcare.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
they don't want to talk about healthcare because she knows she's gonna lose. So let's talk about more affordability.
I didn't lose. You cannot contend with the fact that before the Affordable Care Act.
I already told you about. But let's go. Move on.
But you didn't provide a policy that was.
No. She did say a policy. Medicare for all is a fucking policy. What is your fucking policy? Ask her what is your policy that lowers the cost of healthcare and it increases the quality of life for American citizens. What conservative policy will do those two things for us? Please, tell me, anybody. Oh my God, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I just told you Medicare for all. I just gave you a policy.
You could say Medicare for all, but I just demonstrated how increasing public health care has increased the cost for American families by 100%.
Thank you.
All right, Mason, I see you pressed your button. What would you like fact-checked?
The debater specifically said that public investment is more expensive than the free market when
I like him. Okay, I like him.
Comes to overall national coverage. I specifically was waiting for an affirmative claim that had nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act.
You waited for me to say
a wrong statement, yes.
No.
Oh, wait. Okay, before I go back, I want to see this.
We've been talking about the Affordable Care Act this entire time.
Not the whole time. We were talking.
The ACA is not public insurance. It has an individual mandate, and it's more increased state funding.
All right, that's a valid fact check. So fact checkers, do your thing.
We had
the Jeopardy music.
We do need some. All right, well, Dominique, you said that public investment is more expensive than free market. The fact checkers checked, and they said that was false. Public program administrative costs are lower than private insurance. Public programs run at about 2%, where private insurance costs are more expensive. So I'm going to have you head back to the podium.
Thanks. Sure.
Bro, did she clear them all? That would be dope if Curly Q cleared them all, bro. I love me an intelligent woman. That shit is sexy, bro. Sexy. Hashtag Medicare for all. All is a policy that would extend the life of Americans, of USA citizens, and make life more affordable. What hashtag GOP policy would do the same? Alright, let me go to the bathroom now. Oh, fuck this guy too. Oh, bro.
Alright, Matt, we're going to start with you, and the time starts now.
All right, perfect. So I think when we're talking about affordability, looking at domestic migration is probably like an important metric. Seeing where people are leaving, where people are going. A big part of this has obviously been the housing crisis. In California specifically, I believe they built about 118,000 homes. In Atlanta itself, with 6 million people, they built even more homes than that. I'm not going to get the exact number, so I don't get like hit on with a specific, but more, but like more homes, obviously.
Okay.
And we also obviously see the largest net migration out of California, out of any other state. The number one reason is obviously housing. People are moving to conservative states like Texas, specifically going to places like Dallas for that. And the second reason, obviously, being general affordability. So people are not able to afford things in like major liberal states like California.
So when you talk about not being able to afford things, I think you are looking just at a very specific stat. You're looking at housing specifically, right?
That's one of the many different factors. I mean, there's consumption taxes, right? There's local taxes. There's mileage taxes, which have obviously been proposed. All of these things are regressive taxes.
But the problem is that we need to talk specifically about taxes. So the question really is, what are you getting for those taxes, right? So if I live in New York City, okay, and I'm paying a certain tax rate, what I'm getting in return for that is better education, right? I'm getting safer roads. I'm getting
Jake, you pressed your button. What would you like to fact check?
I'd like to fact check her comment about education. New York does not have better education because of their taxes.
All right, fact checkers, do your thing.
Could have gotten so much more.
I know.
All right, the verdict is in. Z, you claim that New York City has better education standards than red states because of taxes. The fact checkers have determined that to be false. New York City ranks middle percentile in education, not a leader of the pack among states.
I didn't even
Bye
say
bye.
red states, but okay.
We'll have you return to the podium.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I denied you. I denied your greatness.
Hunter, you can start. Your time starts now.
Yeah. All right. So before they were talking about education, they were actually talking about domestic migration to states like Florida.
Right.
When people move from blue states to red states, primarily because of cost of living or housing costs and pandemic specifically, what you're also going to see is those people continue to vote blue disproportionately compared to the people in the states they moved to, which is why states like Arizona have become swing states. It's because when we're talking about inflation, we're talking about jobs created, we're talking about unemployment, Democrat policies are better than Republican policies.
Okay, so it's interesting. You're saying that they're moving from states that have Democrat policies with Democrat legislators and Democrat electorates, and they're moving to states that have Republican policies, right? That have, for example, like Texas and Florida, obviously, no state income taxes. Why are they moving to states like that are with more affordability, lower housing costs, all of those different things? Like, why are we seeing those things in Republican states?
The housing cost is real, but when it comes to Texas versus California,
is that a part of affordability?
when it comes to affordability, about to get into it, property taxes are much higher in Texas than they are in California. In California, it's about 0.7%. In Texas, it's 1.6 to 1.7%.
Sure, that may be true, but we're talking about housing costs generally speaking. Purchasing a home is not the same thing as property taxes, right? Now, property taxes go into the general cost.
Housing costs includes property taxes because you're paying for your housing once you own it.
I do understand that. Sure, but there's different property tax rates depending on which state you're in, obviously. So I'm talking, generally speaking, are houses cheaper in conservative states?
To build housing, absolutely.
Okay, absolutely.
But they're
have
actually
they built
cheapest in blue cities and red states.
Okay, great, but that's still under a Republican government. That's still under Republican states.
No, municipal regulations are much more important than state-level regulations when it comes to building houses in most of these metro areas that we're talking about.
I mean, you can
we have
say
federalism
that.
in the United States.
I do understand that. I do understand that localism obviously goes into this, but nevertheless, these people are moving to conservative states, which have obviously less taxation, generally speaking, and they're able to afford better homes.
Again, that depends on what sort of taxes you're referring to.
And also on top of that, they're able to afford wealth taxes and consumption taxes. For example, if you look at the Virginia legislators, they passed a bunch of different taxes. Were most of those consumption taxes? Yes or no?
I'm honestly not sure.
Okay, most of those things were consumption taxes. Are consumption taxes always regressive or progressive?
It will depend, but generally speaking, they're regressive.
No, they're necessarily regressive. If I go in and I buy a TV and that TV is $100, right, and the tax on that TV is $5, it does not account for me making $100,000 or you making $10 million a year, meaning it's necessarily regressive. Who is more likely in America to pass regressive tax policies in reference to mileage taxes, all sorts of different consumption taxes? And if you admit that they're regressive, who does that disproportionately affect?
When they're regressive, it is going to disproportionately affect people who are on the lower end of the income bracket, but there are reasons for that because it can benefit them in the aggregate, right? For example, congestion pricing in New York, that's to encourage people to use public transit and public transportation, which Zoran Mamdani, Democratic mayor, is spending infrastructure dollars to improve public transit. That's what he ran on, that's what he's trying to do. And in doing that, that actually benefits people, makes things more walkable, more livable relative to what it was before.
Zoran Mamdani, in reference to transportation, right, the MTA actually is running on a $1 billion deficit, about a $1 billion deficit. He also proposed, obviously, decreasing like the bus fare, obviously. Fast and free buses, correct?
Yes, fast
and free buses. Is it true that after he took office, bus fares actually increased and the MTA proposed or actually announced bus fare increases?
Right now, they have just solved the budget deficit that was given to them by Eric Adams. Who was he supported by?
Okay, just really let me debunk let me debunk the budget deficit. So Albany, which is a state like obviously the capital, they gave him $8 billion. 66% of the budget deficit was actually given to him by Albany. If you guys want to fact check that, please go ahead and do
that. That's true.
So when you don't balance the budget,
does New York City give more money to Albany or less money to Albany before after that than they did before?
I think you're forgetting how cities are generally. Hold on for a second. Cities like New York, cities like Houston, cities like Los Angeles are going to produce a significant amount of like economic development and economic mobility. So of course they're going to give the state more than the state gives them. That's always how it works, right? Now, nevertheless, you said that he balanced the budget. You don't balance the budget by me basically handing the check and saying, hey, your problem is solved. Zoran Mamdani was like showing the telescreen and he was like, oh, we're proposing cutting the rainy day fund. He proposed cutting $1 billion from education, right? Hochul came in and Hochul was basically like, hey, we'll give you $8 billion and we will solve your problem. That is not solving the budget or solving the deficit yourself. Furthermore, he promised fast and free buses. They did not get that.
Yes. First off, Zoran Mamdani has been mayor for less than a year. Secondarily, and more importantly, you can't have it both ways.
It's already getting bad.
Is Governor Kathy Hochul a Republican or a Democrat?
Democrat.
She's a Democrat, right? So she runs the state of New York, right? So if you're arguing that New York City was relying on New York City, the economic hub of New York, and one of the economic hubs of the entire world, mind you, very important, that it was relying on New York State and that New York State's policies were uplifting it, then you're arguing that Democratic policies were successfully preventing preventing potential decline of one of the most important economic hubs in the world.
Nope, never said they were uplifting
it. Did she or did she not give an $8 billion to New York?
That is what I just told you, which you didn't obviously know because you said that Zoran Mamdani.
Crime is down in New York City. People are happier. Their quality of life is better in New York City since Mamdani has been in office.
Did you or did you not say that Zoran Mamdani balanced the budget?
Yeah, he negotiated how he got the money. That's balancing the budget, is it not?
No.
If you make a deal with someone,
balancing the budget is not what deal. Okay, hold on.
If you make a deal with someone,
there was a deal. So what concession did he give to the state government?
Nothing.
Oh, so he did make a deal. He received free money from the state government. That's what happened.
No. What the fuck? He didn't receive. It's their money. it's their money. First of all, if you want to think about it as an investment, you can think of it as an investment. But I don't know what this gotcha is for. I fucking hate these
because
dudes.
it's important for New York's lifeblood.
There was plenty of different articles
for
on
New
this.
York's lifeblood.
Matt said that New York City, that Mamdani got free money from the government, and I want to fact check that.
Okay, go ahead.
Fact check that.
The largest economic producer in the country, New York City, getting free money.
Yeah, I don't even think that's like a thing.
The state legislators gave.
Yeah, the point of having an effective local government leader is working with the state legislator. That's the point, dumbass.
Yes!
So, Matt, you claim that NYC received free money from the government. The fact checkers checked, and the verdict is false. That is false. New York City did not receive free money. It received previously collected tax revenue from the state government that came with restrictions and requirements, including matching funds.
They still received the bailout.
You had a good argument.
No, you had a good argument. Shut the fuck up. No. Don't give them no fucking flowers. Sit the fuck down, you stupid bitch. That's what you said, dumbass. I like one hand over here. What's your name, my guy? What's your name? I want to follow you on Twitter. He's right of it, dumbass. They're all fucking dumbasses. That's why you're getting fucking team wiped over here. Fucking hell.
Us liberals were tricky, you know?
Jake, we're going to start with you, and the time starts.
And Mr. Red button-up shirt guy. How did you qualify for this? Like the curly hair lady, and then Mr. One Arm or One Hand over there. They are very qualified for this. Oh shit! It's been 2 hours. All right, let's just wrap this up, and then I think I'm going to go. I'm gonna see if Selena's still out.
Now.
All right. Talking about affordability, I think you could talk about essentially any issue along the line.
Yeah.
Okay, well, talk about any of them. Just pick one. Pick any of the so many. Pick one of any of the policy issues that conservatives are helping out. Matter of fact, today, instead of signing an affordability housing bill, making it law, Trump said, "Fuck you guys." Trump said, "Fuck you. I'm not signing it in protest."
When you allow for markets and freedom to reign, you are going to
We don't have free markets. Tariffs are anti-free markets. 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles are the only reason that Tesla is around.
create systems where you have mutually beneficial trades, which creates better affordability. Or versus when you have things like the state intervention on, say, Zoran Mondami's
state intervention on electric vehicles so that Tesla doesn't go broke.
grocery stores, which he's proposed. This idea of using the state to control things, I think with near zero exceptions, makes the situation worse after. And so I would ask you first, which specific policy do you believe will make things better? And maybe I'll agree if you say like remove zoning. And I'm like, great, that's a conservative thing too.
Well, I do agree with the removing zoning, but we should pick something we'll actually maybe argue over.
Exactly right.
Okay,
specifically.
if you remove zoning, you get roller coaster parks next to your house. You get recycling plants next to playgrounds. You get data centers next to water sources. Okay, it's stupid. This stupid. This stupid. Don't give him shit, bro. Mr. Red Shirt, bro. Where's your? You gotta do some push-ups. The hair is pretty good. Yeah, I think you just need to work out twice a week and you'll be fine. I think you're just giving too much ground. We're done meeting halfway with these people. We're done meeting halfway with these people. The far left is just affordable healthcare. Or no, it's healthcare for all. It's fucking no more racist, misogynists, and bigots. It's fucking no new wars. Like, just don't see a point in giving these people anything. I'm sorry, but I'm sure.
The actions of Lena Khan as the chair on when it comes to affordability during the Biden administration. For example, anti-monopoly practices, trying to break up the potential merger between Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the problem with anti-monopoly practices is two things. One, they're almost always subjective as to what actually defines a monopoly, which is why you get very long court cases. If I have a control on all the computers, is a typewriter a substitute good? Is it a complementary good? How does that work on? And so you always have a situation where the state now has the ability to subjectively pressure and control other companies through...
Isn't that what tariffs... Bro, just bring up tariffs! Then what's the point of fucking tariffs? Why do we have universal tariffs? Why are there 100% tariffs on electric vehicles? Fuck, Jubilee, hit me up. Hit me up, bro. I don't have oh no, my shoes are... I do have nice shoes. I can get them shined at the airport. Texas still have shoe shine at the airport, so it's definitely something. And my button-ups probably aren't as nice as his. I could look like I'm... Okay, bud, but then why are we having universal tariffs? Isn't that anti-free market? As a matter of fact, then why do we have 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles? Wouldn't it just make Tesla better and cheaper and the free market be winning then? Riddle me that. Fucking blue button-up khaki pants motherfucker.
These laws. And so even if they don't explicitly state it, versions like this are very similar things with FEC, SEC regulations, is how Trump is able to, say, pressure Kimmel, which I think was not a conservative thing and shouldn't have happened.
I would agree with you.
It's how the Biden administration is able to do various things like trying to pressure companies to take down various facts, or maybe even not true facts, which is free speech, trying to pressure companies on social media to remove things. And if they don't explicitly state the antitrust threat itself is the ability for the state to control companies, or even just to sue them under subjective grounds, which can possibly run the company into the ground. Okay. And so the problem with this is it creates actually anti-competitive crony systems, and so in the short run, state always...
Bro, everything you're talking about is anti what is happening right now. It's like you want everything that Trump is doing to stop.
It does this, where state has a very specific benefactor, where you say, look, right here we made this thing better, and it makes everything else tiny bit worse. And the problem with these antitrust laws is it always makes everything a little bit worse.
That's not true, and I know this because both of us are YIMBYs. Let me give you a specific example.
The claim that antitrust laws almost always make everything a little bit worse.
Yeah, that's so subjective. What do you... Like, I would love to debate it.
I want to talk about real pain. God damn it, Evan.
Right, Jake, you claimed that antitrust almost always makes everything a bit worse.
That was not my claim. Everything else.
The fact checkers have a verdict, and they have said that that is false. Oh. There are 0 historical records reflecting this claim. So thank you, Jake. You can head to the podium.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it looks like all the...
Like, literally... Like, I'm surprised they got one. I kind of want to go back and see what the fucking one fact check is. He's probably something stupid. But let me see where Celine's at. Let me see. Oh, it's 12:42. I mean, I'm not gonna sleep anyways.
Liberals have pressed their button, and the only person who hasn't is Hunter. So we are going to switch you guys out. We'll have Micah start, and your time starts now.
Something in particular that I think is important is crime rates. Now, I do know the stat that
Okay, what does that have to do with life and affordability?
I think it's red states have higher violent crime than blue states. But if you actually break that down, it's mostly caused from the large blue cities in those red states.
Okay, well, I think to address crime, you essentially need to address things like poverty. And a key aspect about poverty is something like wage growth. And according to the Economic Policy Institute, one of the single biggest suppressors of wage growth is the erosion of collective bargaining. And this is something that Republicans in particular have taken a part in, whether it be the Reagan administration or whether it be going back to the Taft-Hartley Act of the 1940s. The Trump administration also has fired and defunded the NLRB, which is meant to protect workers' ability to unionize. So Republican policy is damaging for something like wage growth, which would address the violent crime statistics that you brought up.
So then why don't we see Republican counties and cities on the top of those lists then?
It would depend on the specifics, but certain Republican counties, let's take for example Orange County, a lot of those areas are very wealthy. They're also very Republican. You would expect wealthier areas to
Is LA County not wealthy?
LA County broadly, but if you want to look at more specific areas, obviously some parts of LA County are going to be wealthy, some of them are going to be not wealthy, and typically
same with Orange County.
Yeah, well, but if we even
Nah,
make it
nah, bro. Fact check that. That's an easy fact check. What is the low? What is the low of? What is the research? The average wages of Orange County. What is the low range of wages in Orange County? Okay. Continue. By the way, I think I was like, they should fact check in real time. Fuck you and your fucking AI fucking viewers, bro. Suck a dick. Oh my god.
So for example, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, these are predominantly more wealthy areas and they're more Republican areas. So
56
it makes sense that wealthier
56 to 61,000. 56. Wow. Double the minimum wage. It's literally double the minimum wage. Fucking bitch.
Nicer areas are going to have less violent crime.
So then, are you admitting then that Republican cities are wealthier than Democratic cities? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that on net, but I think that would be it would be intuitively make sense that wealthier people would vote in their economic interests, such as lowering taxes. That doesn't actually benefit the people. You want to talk about the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act that Trump initiated? 81% of the corporate taxes went to stock buybacks. Less than 5% went to research and development. So tax cuts aren't actually solving something like wage growth, which we want to enable.
Matt, you press your button. All right, what claim would you like to fact check?
Yeah, the 85%. 81% of the tax cuts went to stock buybacks.
Corporate tax cuts.
Right.
All right, fact checkers, do your thing.
Center for Budget and Policy Priorities, I believe, is the organization.
Oh my, since when are they allowed to provide? Because they know, stupid bitch. They cite their work. They don't have to make up bullshit.
All right, Evan, you stated that 81% of corporate tax cuts from TCGA in 2017 went to stock buybacks. Our fact checkers checked, and the verdict is that is false.
Let's go.
81% of corporate cuts from the TCGA in 2017 went to stock buybacks is not what the research actually says. So stated that way, it is false. It's closer to 40 to 50%.
Yeah. Capitalism maxing, baby. Go back.
Thank you, Evan.
I knew.
Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking? That's still bad. That's still bad. Instead of investing in workers, they took half of those profits and just bought back their own stock. That's still fucking bad, you stupid cucks. Okay, alright, I'm done. I'm gonna go hang out with Selena for a bit. Let's see. Good night, y'all. Get prepared. Get involved. Do what you can. Make videos. Tweet. Make TikToks. Like, annoy people in the group chat. Annoy your family members. Annoy everybody. Alright? Stand your ground. Don't give them an inch. Don't give them a fucking inch. Okay? Good night.